defender into a save down to his left. Big save there. Joseph Martinez from 25 yards on, tries the curl. Angoli trying to flick it through, and it comes to the back post, and it's a debut goal for Serhii Krivtsov. Hits it off the post. Borgelin saved off the left. Borgelin again has scored. Gives Miami the comfortable lead. Welcome in to the Inter Miami show. This week, the show comes live from Miami Central Station, the Brightline station here in beautiful downtown Miami, as it is Orlando week. Inter Miami taking on Orlando on Saturday, but also the Herons coming off a big win at the weekend over New England Revolution, the then Eastern Conference leaders, and what a big win it was for Inter Miami. Chris Whittingham, Kieran Gibbs taking you all through it, but Kieran, as we look ahead now, two pretty big games. We'll preview the Orlando game in full later, but you have a Wednesday night game away at Nashville, tough place to play, and then the derby at the weekend against Orlando.
Yeah, big week, Chris, and a good chance to keep climbing up the table. They're on good form at the moment. They're going to have to adjust because there's going to be a lot of travel. Away in Nashville, tough game, and then back across home for a big derby game. And you know how I love the derbies. All bragging rights are on the table. Everything's on the line. Form doesn't matter if this one's for the fans, and hopefully we can end the week just like we've been in the last few weeks, which has been really positive, and I'm sure the boys are gonna come up trumps.
Full breakdown of that one to come, but let's take a look back now at the game against New England Revolution at the weekend. It was a difficult game on prospect for Inter Miami, but in the end, emerging with the victory. Let's take a look at the highlights now. Inter Miami taking on New England Revolution, who entered the game at top of the supporter shield standings, as well as top of the MLS Eastern Conference, and the scoring would get started quickly. David Ruiz starting the move with a nice ball into Robert Taylor, and after it pings around the area, it would eventually come for Leo Campana, who would lay it off for the first Inter Miami goal of David Ruiz after a wicked deflection, Kieran.
Yeah, we've been asking for fast starts, and that's certainly what we got. The opening 20 minutes, they were brilliant. They high pressure, sustained attacks, they were competitive, and they fully deserve this opening goal. And what a moment for David Ruiz, who's been brilliant so far.
First goal scored by an academy player for Inter Miami. He would eventually go on to get an assist. More on that later. Here would be New England trying to push to get an equalizer. Noah Buck would put this in the back of the net, but it would eventually be disallowed for offside. Latif Blessing was in the view of Drake Callender when the strike comes in, so the goal will be off the board.
Yeah, I mean, they had to weather the storm a little bit after 20 minutes or so. It was a nice bit of play, but Miami defended well for the most part, and I think that they just had to stay focused and make sure that they controlled their attacking players, who were pretty good. And
Carlos Hill is certainly one of them. A great finish for the equalizer.
Yeah, I mean, the only criticism of Ryan Saylor, who I thought was brilliant the other night, was just that he allows a little bit too much space for Carlos Hill, who we know is dangerous.
And a nice go-ahead goal here. Miami back in front. Joseph Martinez scoring for a second match running in the league.
Yeah, and again, brilliant from David Ruiz. He's had such a big impact since he started playing, and determined, physical, strong.
That's some
gets
challenge.
The better of his man. Brilliant play.
Yeah, Ruiz with the assist there. DeAndre Yedlin as well, getting a secondary assist on that one. But eventually, Ruiz would get his marching orders. He picked up a second yellow card. Bit of an odd sequence, but for delaying the restart, he gets the second yellow.
Yeah, just a big learning curve for him. He's so competitive. He's physical. He doesn't shy away from that side of the game. And it will be a loss. It will be a loss for the boys.
But Inter Miami hanging on through the 7 minutes of stoppage time and getting the 3 points over Bruce Arena's side. Let's hear now the thoughts of the Inter Miami manager, Phil Neville, after that victory against New England.
And the togetherness and the fight that the boys are showing is really good. I'm really proud of every single one of them in the squad. We're going to need every single one of them. And we've invested in the strikers, and they're now delivering. When they score, we win, and I think that's the key thing. Is that they begin to show signs that they're coming together as a partnership. It's not perfect by no stretch. I mean, that they know that, I know that. The system is not perfect yet, but what we're getting perfect results, and that's the most important thing. Coming off an 0-6, I think we've responded against all adversity. With an incredible mentality, and I think they're growing in confidence, they're growing in belief, and I'm really pleased.
And let's break down some of the individual performances now from this game, this win over New England. Such an impressive victory for a 5th win in a row in all competitions. And Kieran, we're talking about in the highlights the performance of Ryan Saylor. You mentioned him that he had that one mistake maybe for the goal, but is asked to play in a different system, a back three with Kamal Miller, Chris McVeigh either side of him, and he did a really decent job in his first start of the year.
I was really impressed with Ryan. It's not easy when you haven't played many minutes to come in and slot into the team, no matter how much training you do. But I thought he was brilliant. He's commanding at the back. He kept the boys high. He's great in the air, and he's physical. And I thought it was a great game from him.
Particularly in that second half when you're defending a lead and you're playing in a new system and you haven't really gone the full 90 for a while. I imagine that's really tough.
Yeah, no, he had a lot to do in the second half, but everything that came his way, he dealt with. Some brilliant clearances, late in the game when the boys are under pressure. Sometimes you just need someone to come and just get the boys up and clear the ball. And he was loud, he was communicating with his teammates, everything you want from a centre half.
Yeah, the former first-round pick for Inter Miami with a big performance. But we mentioned as well, David Ruiz was probably the standout performer in this game. Gets the goal with a tremendous hit on the volley, the first ever goal scored by an Inter Miami Academy player, and then gets the assist as well, putting in such a big challenge in that situation. What for you stood out about his performance?
I just really like David's maturity for such a young player. He keeps it simple. He's not overcomplicating things. He puts himself about. He's physical, and yeah, I'm really impressed with him. And what a great moment for the club. First history maker. Such a proud moment for him, for the club, for his family, and yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do in the future.
And how does it feel to be an inspiration to the academy kids that were here in the stadium, that were maybe ball kids tonight, that want to be in this position and want to be like you one day?
Same thing. I would say just fight for their dreams and never give up. And yeah, the club is with them, and yeah, just to keep on learning. That everything is a learning experience.
Does depart for the Under-20 World Cup with Honduras in Argentina. So Miami without yet another number in midfield as we progress in this MLS season. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to have an interview with Patrick Goddard, the president of Brightline, tell you about the incredible partnership between Inter Miami and Brightline, getting fans to the game each and every week. And as promised, we're talking now to Patrick Goddard, the president of Brightline. And Patrick, thank you so much for joining us. Inter Miami and Brightline have been partnered together for more than a year now to get fans to and from the stadium. Tell us about it. How exactly are Brightline getting Inter Miami supporters to Drive Pink Stadium?
Well, look, I think it's an important partnership. Inter Miami is such a central part of the South Florida community now. And as Brightline, we want to make sure that we're connecting people within the community to the events that matter. So getting people to the game was a priority for us. We were excited about this partnership. We are able to get people from the station directly to the game and back using a shuttle, so you don't have to worry about having a car, you don't have to worry about parking. You can have a good time and not worry about driving. So we've been running our Goal Getter shuttles since last year, and again into this season, and we found it to be very, very successful. It's been a really great collaboration.
So how can fans living in Miami, Aventura, West Palm, Boca get from where they live to the stadium?
So take the train to the Fort Lauderdale station, get on the Goal Getter shuttle, and they're there in about 15 minutes or so to the game. They can actually purchase the entire experience. So if you go onto our website or our app and you're buying the ticket, we've lined up the trains for the game. We've stickered them with the Goal Getter trains.
Yep.
And when you buy those Goal Getter tickets, it also gets you access to the shuttle that'll take you to the game.
And it's goal with multiple O's. Goal Getter.
That's right.
For these Inter Miami trains. Now, we're obviously talking to you on the eve of Miami and Orlando because Brightline will very soon be connecting those two cities. I believe tickets go on sale this week.
That's
for
right.
Miami to Orlando routes. Tell us about that.
So this is a really exciting milestone for us. This has been a 10-year odyssey building this intercity passenger rail system connecting South and Central Florida. So we've been working on this, as I said, for 10 years. We've been operating in South Florida connecting Miami to West Palm, which stops in between, for the last couple of years. But the goal was always to connect South Florida with Central Florida. That's a 235-mile distance. People hate that drive.
I hate that drive.
It's unpredictable. The weather can affect it. Accidents can affect it. It's tiring. It's exhausting. You can't be productive. So we really think there needs to be another mode of travel. There's about 40 million or so people who drive up and down between Central and South Florida on an annual basis. We want to get those cars off the road and put them in these comfortable trains, leather seats, outlets everywhere, Wi-Fi, food and beverage service, and as you saw in our station, we've got great stations with bars and food and beverage and just a wonderful experience. We really wanted to create a travel experience through the lens of the modern traveler, and I think that's what we've done. People really do enjoy the experience of traveling on Brightline. It's not just about the commodity of transportation getting from A to B. So we put tickets on sale. We're not quite ready to announce our launch date, our first date of revenue service, but we are putting tickets on sale for future dates starting in September. We got travel dates starting in September, so you can start to make plans for your Halloween events at the theme parks.
Miami, Orlando in September.
The Miami, Orlando game in September. We've got, Thanksgiving, we've got Christmas, we've got all kinds of events happening in Central Florida that Southern Florida people can get to on Brightline. And then similarly, if you're living in Central Florida, you have access to South Florida and all the things and events and activations that are happening down here for people to enjoy.
Brilliant stuff. Patrick Carter, the president of Brightline, Inter Miami, and Orlando City this weekend. We hope that in September you'll be taking the Brightline up to Orlando to maybe check that game out. It'll be great stuff. Thanks so much for joining us.
Pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Incredible stuff that Brightline are doing with Inter Miami. Now, as you look ahead to the weekend, it's a derby match, and Kieran Gibbs is going to tell us how Inter Miami are going to win it. Inter Miami taking on Orlando City. It's time for 3 points. For 3 points, Kieran, what are the keys to victory this week?
Okay, so the first thing this week is adapting to Orlando's style of play. They've played a few different formations this season, so they're going to need to, have a game plan for each system and try and adapt quickly into the game. The second big thing this week is intensity. I want to see the same intensity as the last few games. It's a derby game again, so you're going to have to compete and win the midfield battle. It's going to be huge, especially in the opening 20 minutes. And I think that will give the boys the best chance. And then the third thing this week, I can't not mention La Familia. A derby game, we need the home fans. They've been great this season so far. And I know personally that it gives the boys such a big lift. And that can give you that extra push that you need to get the 3 points. So, vamos La Familia.
Let's go. It's the biggest fixture of the year. Inter Miami taking on Orlando City. When the schedule comes out, this is the game that you look for. And also we'll have the reverse fixture in September, but it's Inter Miami taking on Orlando City. Before we go, I want to tell you about the shirts we're wearing this week. Love Unites, on sale this week. The kit for Inter Miami, which will be worn pre-match before the game against New York Red Bulls on May 31st. You can get it now wherever you get your jerseys, but Love Unites on sale now, so we're hooked up here on the Inter Miami show. We love wearing this shirt. So Inter Miami taking on Orlando City this weekend. I want to thank everyone at Brightline for having us this week at Miami Central Station. We'll talk to you next week, hopefully after Inter Miami win over Orlando City.